Students, today we are going to practice the more number of problems on resultant of coplanar concurrent forces by analytical method. In earlier session, we learned the basics of analytical method and computation of resultant of a coplanar like parallel force system. So at this point, we are aware of the how to find out the resultant of a coplanar like parallel forces system and coplanar unlike parallel force system also. And we are also deal some of the problems using the resolution concept, force resolution concept. The same thing has been also be termed as analytical method. We are already solved some of the few problems. Now I want to give some extra knowledge to avoid the misconceptions and to avoid the mathematical mistakes while solving the analytical methods of problems. In the analytical problem, generally the students are persons confused with the how to take the angle with respect to which axis. In the figure, here if theta is given with respect to fx with respect to x-axis with respect to x-axis, then how you can give the angle, how you can mention the resolution of the forces. In this case, theta is given with respect to x-axis, with respect to x-axis, right? Therefore fx will become fx will become adjacent side of the theta, hence its resolution component is f cos theta. For the fy, it is not the adjacent side of the theta, hence it is an opponent side of the theta. Like you can draw this diagram like this: f, fx and fy. This is like the right. So this can be termed as fy fx, this one like this. So f is the diagonal and fy is the opposite side, fx is the adjacent side. So theta is here. This is what in this figure. So then if you want to find the fx, what you have to do? Use the cos theta. So hence I use the cos theta, being it is adjacent side. It is an adjacent side. For the to find the fy, I need to take the sin theta because it is opposite side. Now it is in opposite side. Hence I need to take the sin theta. If this is the system of arrangement, you should follow the same thing, right? So all the components of their angles always might not be with the x-axis. So there is some angles are also with respect to y-axis also will be happen. Then how you are going to do with that? So in this case, the angle is given with respect to y-axis. Now the figure will difference. Now adjacent side is which side? It is y-axis. So it is very clear that adjacent side is now y-axis. adjacent side is y-axis. So you need to draw accordingly the diagonal triangle. You see this? Now I am going to draw that given triangle. So this is the way. Now this is the way, and you see that is the formation of the triangle. After formation of this triangle, you can simply say that this is the formation of the triangle, right? So now for this angle theta, for this of angle theta, this will become opposite side. This is an opposite side, and this one is adjacent side. So this is opposite side is parallel to the x-axis. Opposite side is parallel to x-axis. So opposite side is parallel to x-axis, right? So this opposite side gives the fx and adjacent side gives the fy. So adjacent side, hence adjacent side is fy. So I given for the fy cos theta. You see here I had given for the fy cos theta, and for the opposite side which is parallel to x-axis, hence in opposite side is always sin theta, so it is parallel to x-axis, hence fx equal to f sin theta, right? So this is the system we have to understood, how the theta is given, and in what case how you have to arrange the cos and sin theta according to the adjacent and opposite sides, right? You see the differences between the both the figures. Here fx is f sin theta, in this figure fx is f cos theta. So cos and sines are changed according to the theta position, according to the theta position. So okay, so that is the thing. And the directions here you observe that f is away, f is the force is away. So and if you are taking its components, this direction of the force will come to this direction and come to upward direction. If I resoluted this f1, f into two components, fx in the positive side, fy in the positive side. So both are positive side by seeing that arrow which side is this, right? So directions or sense should be taken as per the coordinate rectangular system, right? So you have to understood and practice these taking of sin theta and cos theta. In order to better understood, I am making the both into the one system, and those people, those students who are confusing with the taking of this theta, I recommended the another method to make it you simple. All the x's are in cos theta, all the y's are in sin theta. How you see this? In general, in general, this is the problems generally posed to the students while in examinations or for practice, where the theta is given for different axes, like this x-axis 50 degrees given, for the y-axis 20 degrees given. Now, in every formula of the f of x and f of y, you got the sine and cos. In this figure, it is f1 is multiplied with the sine theta and f2 is multiplied with the cos theta. So you have to every time check whether it is sine or cos. So every time you need to go for checking whether it is sine or cos, because here 50 degree is maintaining with respect to the x-axis, hence it is a cos, right, for the f2 fx condition, right? for the f1, for the fx condition, it is making an angle with respect to y. So I am wanted to with respect to x, hence I required sine 20 for the fx. So, and again if you see the fy, those values are interchangeable. For the f1, earlier it is sine 20, now it is cos 20. Just degree is same, just sine and coses are interchanged. And similarly for the f2, earlier it is cos 50, now it is sine 50. That is the changes. Just interchange. If one equation you got, the another equation is as simple as it is, just change the sine and cos and understood the directions. Whether it is they are positive or negative, you should see the arrow symbol, right? So you have to more conscious about the sine and cos symbols and plus or negative symbols according to the positive x-axis, negative x-axis, and positive y-axis and negative y-axis. Accordingly you have to give the direction sign symbols to in the equation, right? And if you got the one of the equation, you get the second equation by changing its sign and causes simply, right? Just theta value should be always the same, right? So for a normal students, if this is the situation where each and every equation having the sine and cos theta, simultaneously so many sines and so many causes are coming alternatively in one equation, it makes a confusion to the student. So in order to simplify it, I wish to write the this sine also into the cos, right? And this cos also into the sine, so that fy will be completely in sine only and fx will completely in cos only. So you see how you can write the same thing. This is the conversion. If I want to make all the things are in causes or all the things are in sine, you please see the bottom of this slide. Here I made f1 f2 into causes only, and fy also made into sine only. There is no combination of sine and cos. Please understood, there is no combination of sine and cos here. I made them as keep it as only one cosine or in sine only, right? Just go back to the end. Here it is, the both are different, sine and cos is there in one equation, right? But here only causes in only one. How I get it this? I just made the angles with one axis only, with one axis. Suppose I am taking with respect to x axis, all the angles I am converted into the with respect to x axis only. Now see in the figure, there is two angles. Theta is 50 degree with respect to x. I am wanted to with x only, hence it is okay for me. The second angle given, theta equal to 20 degree with respect to y, with respect to it is y. So I am not wanted to this with respect to y. I want to change the same thing with respect to x only. Now what is the x value here? X theta, simply you know that for the perpendicular it will be 90 degree. This is the 90 degree. 90, this the total is 90 minus this 20, 90 minus 20. Now what I got? 70 degree. So this angle is 70 degree. So this is the 70 degree. So I want interested in to find the 70 degree. So now this theta is with the x-axis only, with the x-axis only, and this theta also with the x-axis only. So all the angles are with the x-axis only, right? So that I made the I can easy to write the equation in terms of causes and sines in separately. For the fx only causes will come, mind it, for fx only causes will come, and for y only sines will come. Direction is different. You have to take the plus and negative symbols according to their they are going upward, downward, or negative, positive, that towards the right hand side, left hand side, those signs plus or minus you have to see that. But what I made the simple for you, that means you have to convert all the angles with respect to one axis only, and draw a fresh diagram for the same, and then start solving the problem, right? So this is the easy way if you want to avoid the confusion, right? However, if you are most convenient to the any type of situation, you can just practice the same thing. But in this method, you will not get any problematic or unsolved solutions. Right? There is no confusion in this system if you are making changes all into the all angles into the with respect to one axis. Right? So it is as simple as it is. Right? Now uh, I want to solve the give the solutions for the yesterday session problem. So in that session we discussed about the angles how they are given. uh, so this 45-degree is with respect to x-axis. It is with respect to x-axis, and this 20-degree is also with respect to x-axis, and but the 50-degree is with respect to y-axis, and 30 degrees with respect to y-axis, right? So this is the combination of the angles given. So either you can as it is you can form for using the method of sin and cos theta trigonometry, you can give the formations for the f of x and fy, or you can convert all the angles with respect to x-axis only. Either it may be positive x-axis or it may be negative x-axis, and then simply formulate the equation f of x in terms of the causes and f of y in terms of the sines, right? Either of the way you can solve. I am taking the difficult one to show that it is not, it is also easy, right? So we will go into the problem, right? Now there are forces P, Q, R, S, T, N, M are the forces are acting on the coplanar concurrent system. This is the force system is coplanar concurrent force system. So he wanted to find us resultant. Whenever they said the resultant, you should find the magnitude of the resultant and direction of the resultant, and after finding the results you should show the diagrammatically, right? Now going to the solution. So we have to find the sigma f of x and sigma of fy, because our r is equal to the square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square. Hence, we need to find the sigma f of x and sigma f of y. Right? Using this diagram, what is the problem is given, right? By observing the same diagram, you just formulate the sum of the forces, the algebraic sum of the forces in x direction. Right? Here P is in totally positive x-axis, hence it is taken as positive. It is taken as positive because it is a P in the positive x direction. And M cos 45. Why I taken M as cos 45? Because this will gives the direction towards the adjacent side is x-axis, hence I have to take the, it is a closing side, hence I had taken the cos. So in several notations also, cos for the closing, sign for the opening, these are the common sentences we are also listening, right? Here it is 45-degree will closes towards the x-axis, hence it would be taken as cos 45, and it's given the direction towards the negative way, towards the negative way, hence it gives the m is going travels towards the negative direction, hence it is a negative, right? It is a negative. And similarly for the t case, it is going upward direction, and it is making an angle of 50 degree with respect to the y-axis, not with respect to the x-axis. Now what is the descent side? It is y. So I want to take the x-axis side, hence I need to use the sine theta. Therefore sine 50 I use it for the t, and it is going towards the this direction. It is going, t is going to this direction, hence it is also negative, right? What is the contribution of the q? Q is 0 because it is a in purely y-axis side, hence q is not taken in the equation of the sigma f of x. And coming to the s, it is purely in negative x direction, hence I taken it as a minus x. And for the n, you see the n is in which direction it is going? It is towards the positive x direction. By rotating, you can see that by rotating. So I wish to rotate the same thing towards the x-axis. How the n will behave? N will come like this. N will come like this, like this. Hence, n is coming towards the positive, positive x-axis. Hence, it should be taken as a positive, right? Hence, positive, and it is closing side is towards the x-axis only. Hence, you should take the cos 20. Similarly, for r, it is also traveling towards the positive x-axis. You see, this is the arrows will come like this when I am going to close towards the x-axis. So it is also a positive side, right? Hence I am taking r as a positive, and this angle is with respect to y-axis. It is with respect to y-axis, but not with respect to the x-axis. Hence I need to take the sine theta. Hence I take the sine theta, therefore sine 30. So substitute all the values, then you get the value of sigma f of x equal to 201.58 newtons. Right? Now observe the sigma f of x equation and sigma f of y equation. In this one, first we are going to just comparison. Here it is m cos 45, right? And now it is m sin 45, just opposite. You see sin 50 is there, again it is cos 50. That is what I am saying to you. That will gives the opposites. Whereas the cos 20, here it is for the n it is sin 20, and for the r it is sin 30, it is cos 30. Right? Directions are as per the figure. You have to see whether r is going upward or downward. Now here r is going downward or upward, that you have to see. So here r is going towards the downward side. It is going towards the downward side, so hence it is given as negative, right? So this is the how to frame the sigma f of x equation and sigma f of y equation. And in the earlier equation of the sigma f of x, we are not consider the q value. Now we are consider the q value because it is purely in y direction, right? And p is not considered, and s is also not considered in sigma f of y because they are x-axis or horizontal side. They are not the verticals, or they are not the inclines. So that is the differences generally while we are framing sigma f of x and sigma f of y equations, right? And solve for the solution. You got f of y is equal to 505.15 newtons. Right? So using the magnitude of resultant and direction formula, r is equal to square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square. Substitute the sigma f of x value and sigma f of y value, then you got the resultant 543.88 newtons. Similarly, by using the theta tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x, due to f of x is positive and f of y is positive also, it represents the first coordinate, right? So using the tan inverse, so why I have written this first coordinate word, you see here, to locate the resultant position where it will be there. So it is the first coordinate position. This is the first coordinate position, and I am giving the value of the resultant in the first quadrant only, right? And similarly, uh, to get the exact theta value, I am substituting the values of f of y and f of x in the theta is equal to tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x equation. After substituting, I got the value of theta 68 degree 14 minutes with respect to x-axis. Because both are positive, so obviously I get the theta value with respect to positive x-axis, with respect to positive x-axis. This is important. This is positive x-axis, right? You should see that positive x-axis. So we have to demonstrate the values resultant and theta, right? So this is the way you have to analyze the equation, right? If you are comfortable in this method, you can do that, or if you are not comfortable in this method, you just change all the angles towards the x-axis only, either to the positive axis or negative x-axis. Then f of x will be completely comes in the form of cosines only, and f of y completely comes in the sines only, right? So that is up to you how you, coming to the next typical model, uh, like this, find the force t. So you want to find the force t. Now t is not given. You observe this one in this problem, t value is not given. Now he wants to find the t value, right? So t value in the coplanar system, and the resultant is some resultant value is given, and the angle is given, right? So just wait 2 minutes. So we will change this one as, we see in the given problem, E is not given the T force T, and Q and remaining all values are given, and the resultant is given 548.88 Newton, and theta value 68 degree 14 minutes. So by using uh, the same resultant formula, or using the tan theta value, you can obtain the t value. Here we have the two equations, r is equal to square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square, and the second equation is tan theta, that is theta is equal to tan inverse square root tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x, right? By using these equations, any of one equation you can use, and you can get the value of the theta. It is convenient to use for a single unknown problems, use the tan theta formula. It is easy to solve. because in R you need to square roots and everything are there, so it is makes some more time to solve that one. So you use the tan theta formula, right? The process is the same. You have to get the sigma f of x and sigma f of y. So solve for the sigma f of x and sigma f of y by putting the t, right, in the same equation. You have to get the sigma f of x and sigma f of y values, right? Sigma f of x, the same equation earlier what you got, that the same equation, but while solving all the values have been replaced except t, because t is unknown. So this equation comes in terms of the unknown t, right? Therefore sigma f of x is came as 661.21 minus 0.766 t. So you observe that in earlier equation we know the t value, so we are substituted and you got something 200 something value. But here we don't know the t value, hence the sigma f of x has to be uh, uh, keep in terms of the t only. Right? Similarly, sigma f of y equation also in terms of the t, we have to write the equation. So same equation of the earlier, and just replace all the values except t. So you got the sigma f of y in terms of the t. And earlier I said that you have the two equations. R is equal to square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square r, and another equation is theta is equal to tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x. So the second equation is easy to calculate the one single unknown. Therefore, I am using the same equation. Theta is equal to tan inverse sigma f of y by f of x. Hence, tan inverse I have been replaced with the tan theta here. Tan theta is equal to sigma f of y by sigma f of x. Right? So use the same equation tan theta and then solve this equation by substituting the 1 and 2, the same thing in the equation, by solving this one step by step, right? The value of tan 68 degree 14 minutes is 2.504, and getting all the equations to one side, right? Getting solution step by step solving, right? You are obtaining the value of the theta as 599.83 newtons, right? You got this value, right? 599.83, right? Look at this value is correct or not, right? So in this figure where all the values are given in the earlier equation, where that what is the t value, 600 newton only. So hence I used the values also the same thing, resultant and theta 68 degree in our new problem also. So I keep the same resultant value. I keep the same resultant value 548.81 and 68 degree 14. So you are solved in the earlier. So this is the earlier values. So I keep the same values here to, and asking to find the theta value, that is t value, t force. So now after solving you got the same 599.83, that is nothing but approximately equal to the, nearly very nearly equal to the 600 newtons. Hence your procedure is right. So without any another thought to use the r equation, you can use the tan theta equation to solve one single unknown, right, within less time. And the direction, you got the positive means the value, that means the direction assumed in the direction is same, it is correct, right? So this is the way you have to solve the unknowns. Now I am making the same problem into some more typical. Now in this problem we are framing as two unknowns where t and n are not knowns. That means unknowns. But what is the known? Remaining all forces we know, and the resultant is also known, and theta is also known, right? So we have the two equations, that is r is equal to square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square, and another equation theta is equal to tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x. So by using these two equations, you can solve the two unknowns, right? Two known equations, two unknowns we have to solve. But trust me, this is not going to easy, because here it is r is in terms of the square root and squares there is involved that equation. To solve it takes much time, hence generally these type of problems will not pose in the exam. But however, you should solve a problem at your own by having the two or three equations, right? Two or three forces only, right? The same procedure, right? We have to solve the sigma f of x, the algebraic sum of all the forces in the x direction, in terms of the unknown forces, that is n and t are came here, it is n and t unknown forces, right? And similarly, you got the equation in terms of the n and t, right? In terms of the n and t, you got the equation of sigma f of x by substituting the all the values. Now for the sigma f of y also, substitute the all the values as per the diagram, and accept t and n which are unknowns, and you get the sigma f of y in terms of the t and n values. Okay. So from this figure, by uh, replacing all the values, you got the sigma f of x and sigma f of y. You know r is equal to square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y. By squaring on both sides, you got r square is equal to sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square, right? So substitute the values, r is given in the problem itself, and sigma f of x you are solved, and sigma f of y, this equation is nothing but the equation, the same thing, right? So just substitute all those values of sigma f of x and sigma f of y, then r, if you are able to expand and getting a bigger equation, then solve it and keep one side of the same thing for next further reference, right? And you know the second equation, that is theta is equal to tan inverse sigma f of y by sigma f of x, then substitute all the values in that one and you get the solution to solve. So in this solution also, the equation merges into the n and t values only, right? So this entire, after solving this equation, right, and by step by step you are getting n in terms of the t or t in terms of the n. Even though you are getting this equation, you please see here, it is not an easy equation. You see here, there is some divisions are there, right? That n in terms of the n in terms of the t is having some divisions and multiplications, addition. So you have to substitute this value in the equation of r, in the equation of r. You see here, n value has to be replaced here, n value has to be replaced here in terms of the t. Now there are t's, and in the n value is also a fraction value, hence it is giving a bigger equation while you are solving, right? So it is not an easy way to simply get the unknowns when two are there, right? Substitute this n value in the equation 4 and solve, you will get n and t value, right? So hence it takes more time, because it involves square terms and fractions, so it takes more time. But however, you do a little practice on this one, because this method will give uh, easy solution when n and t, either of the one case is only towards the x-axis or only towards the y-axis, then it will be, it might be easy to you to get the answers easily. So please keep practice for better understanding. Frame yourself a small problems with the two or three forces at some angles and practice it one. You will better comfort while solving in the examination hall with accuracy. So in this session we are understood that how to uh, get the solve solutions for the analytical method by keeping sine and cos thetas as adjacent and opposite sides of a triangle, so that you can obtain the f of x and f of y, and what is the positioning of the theta, and how it, the value of the f of x and fy values are varies. And we are also seeing that making it a very simple for making the total angles as a one of the axis, so that it can be give a simple values of the f of x in terms of causes only, f of y in terms of the sines only. So we will do the problems on this method also in the next session, so that easy to understand the same problems, right? So after that we are solved the one problem which is involves almost seven forces, right? And we got the resultant and angle, right? After that I want to make sure that you are better practiced of the equations, so that I made it one unknown and given the resultant and resultant magnitude and direction, and final determining for the unknown force of a single force. So you understood that procedure, how to do that one, right? And in the next problem, we possess two unknowns and resultant and remaining all the forces are given, so that it is better to apply all the equations step by step, and it is time taking process to solve the two unknowns. So practice on that one, right? So today we discussed about the resultant of coplanar concurrent forces by analytical method, finding the unknown forces when the resultant is given. Right? Also we are doing it. Thank you. Well, so you are also understood that there are two types of force system are there in the parallel force system, that is coplanar like parallel forces and coplanar unlike parallel forces system. Can you identify which type of force system this is? Which type of force system it is? All the forces are in parallel, right? And their direction is in one direction. That is, all are in downward direction. Hence, it is a like parallel force system. Therefore, coplanar like parallel force system. So this one is like a parallel force. This one is like parallel force. Okay. Can you identify this system? You please observe there are reactions are given, that is nothing but support conditions, and some of the forces are acting towards the downward. So the direction of all our forces are parallel. Look at these all forces. R1 is parallel to R2 also, and R1 and R2 are parallel to the given forces F1 and F2. All the forces are parallel to each other. R1 is parallel to R1 is parallel to R2 is parallel to F1 is parallel to F2, but the direction is opposite in nature. You see this R1 is upward direction, right? R2 is also upward direction, but F1 is downward direction. F2 is also downward direction. Now the directions are for the R1 and R2, F1 and F2 are not similar. Hence, this type of system is known as the coplanar unlike parallel force system. Coplanar unlike parallel system. It, by using the coplanar unlike parallel system, force system, you can find the support reactions, right? And by using the coplanar parallel system, you can get the resultant, right? So this is the application of the coplanar parallel system of like and unlike systems. Thank you.